boy from a small town. No money, no fame, just a big dream. He dropped out of college, started a company in his garage, and faced failure after failure. But none of it stopped him. That boy, Steve Jobs. Get ready for a story of resilience, vision, and chasing dreams instead of perfection. In a small, unassuming California town, a boy named Steve Jobs began a life that would one day leave an indelible mark on the world. He wasn't born into privilege or surrounded by fame. His parents, Paul and Clara Jobs, were humble, hard-working individuals who adopted Steve as a baby. They couldn't have imagined that the curious child they brought home would grow up to become one of the most influential figures in modern history. Paul Jobs was a machinist, a man who could fix or build just about anything. He spent countless hours in the family garage, tinkering with tools and gadgets. Young Steve often joined him, watching intently and asking endless questions. It was in this garage, amidst the smell of oil and the hum of machines, that Steve's fascination with how things worked began to take root. Even as a child, Steve was different. While other kids played sports or rode their bikes around the neighborhood, Steve was busy exploring electronics, dismantling radios, and reassembling them just to see if he could. He was a dreamer, someone who looked at the world and saw not just what it was, but what it could be. Yet, his early years were far from smooth. At school, Steve's restless energy and rebellious spirit often got him into trouble. He didn't fit into the traditional mold of a good student. Teachers found him disruptive, and classmates sometimes misunderstood his intensity. But Steve didn't care. Deep down, he knew he was destined for something extraordinary, even if no one else could see it yet. At 17, Steve made a decision that shocked his parents and everyone who knew him. He walked into the living room one evening and announced that he was dropping out of college. His parents were stunned. They had worked tirelessly to save money for his education, believing it was the key to a better future. "Why?" his mother asked, her voice filled with disappointment. "Because it's not the right place for me," Steve replied. "I want to learn, but not like this." He spent his days attending only the classes that interested him, like calligraphy, which later influenced the elegant design of Apple's typography. Though he had no immediate plans, Steve trusted his instincts. He believed that the dots of his life would one day connect, even if he couldn't yet see how. After leaving college, Steve found a job at Atari, a video game company. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave him a foothold in the world of technology. It was here that he met Steve Wozniak, a shy, brilliant engineer who shared Steve's passion for electronics. The two became fast friends, bonding over their shared vision of creating something revolutionary. One evening, as they worked on a side project in Wozniak's garage, the idea for Apple was born. They envisioned a computer that wasn't just for businesses or laboratories but for everyday people. It was a radical idea at the time. Computers were large, expensive, and inaccessible to most. But Steve and Wozniak believed they could change that. In 1976, Steve and Wozniak officially founded Apple. Their headquarters? Steve's parents' garage. Their resources? A handful of tools, a circuit board, and an unshakable belief in their vision. They poured their time, energy, and savings into building their first product, the Apple I. The Apple I was far from perfect. It was a bare circuit board with exposed wires and components, nothing like the sleek devices we know today. But it worked, and that was enough for Steve. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing progress. At first, people laughed at them. Who would want a computer in their home? Skeptics asked, "It's just a hobbyist's toy." But Steve wasn't discouraged. He knocked on doors, pitched his product to local computer stores, and convinced a few brave retailers to take a chance on Apple. By 1980, Apple was a rising star in the tech world. The Apple II, their second product, was a massive success, and the company went public, making Steve a millionaire at just 25 years old. But with success came challenges. As Apple grew, so did the pressure. Steve's perfectionism and relentless drive often clashed with his team. He demanded the impossible, pushing people to their limits. Some admired his vision, while others found him difficult to work with. In 1984, Steve introduced the Macintosh, a groundbreaking computer with a graphical user interface. It was beautiful, intuitive, and ahead of its time, but sales were disappointing, and critics were harsh. For most, this would have been a devastating setback. But for Steve, it was just another lesson. In 1985, Steve faced the unthinkable. Following internal conflicts, he was forced out of Apple, the very company he had built. It was a crushing blow, one that left him reeling. For a time, he retreated from the spotlight, unsure of what to do next. But Steve wasn't one to dwell on failure. He founded Next, a company focused on creating high-end computers for education and business. At the same time, he bought a small animation studio called Pixar. Pixar was a gamble. At the time, it was a struggling company with little success, but Steve saw its potential. He believed that animation could be more than just cartoons. It could be art. Over the next decade, Pixar revolutionized the film industry, producing hits like Toy Story and Finding Nemo. Meanwhile, Next struggled to find its footing. But even in its struggles, the company produced groundbreaking technology, including software that would later become the foundation for Apple's operating systems. In 1997, Apple was on the brink of collapse. Desperate for help, the company brought Steve back. This time, he was older, wiser, and more focused than ever. Steve's return marked a turning point for Apple. He streamlined the company's product line, cutting unnecessary projects and focusing on innovation. Under his leadership, Apple introduced a series of revolutionary products: the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. Each one redefined its category, transforming the way people live, worked, and communicated. Steve's journey wasn't about avoiding mistakes. It was about learning from them. Each failure taught him something valuable, and each setback made him stronger. He believed that the road to success wasn't a straight line but a winding path filled with obstacles. Perfection is an illusion, Steve once said. What matters is progress. Steve Jobs' life was a testament to the power of dreaming big and refusing to give up. He didn't let failures define him, and he didn't wait for the perfect moment to act. He believed in the power of ideas, the importance of creativity, and the value of perseverance. Today, Steve's legacy lives on in every Apple product, every Pixar film, and every person who dares to chase their dreams. His story is a reminder that greatness isn't about being flawless, it's about being fearless. So, the next time you hesitate to take a leap, waiting for the perfect moment, remember Steve Jobs. He didn't wait for perfection. He chased his dreams, and in doing so, he changed the world. The moral of the story is, chase your dreams, not perfection. Keep going, learn from mistakes, and never give up.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories and content. See you in the next video. What do you think about Steve Jobs' success story? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section.